Between the sheets. Yes, the last resort. Let's not waste too much time, man. Let's get into what these couples have had to say about the relationships that went down in last night's episode.
I like her, but I mean, everyone knows this girl, the girl in the room that needs the attention from all the guys. That's Kara. You know, whatever room she's in, I've noticed it. I've noticed it with security. I think it could interfere in a marriage when you need not just your husband's attention, but everyone's husband's attention. So,
To be fair, no lies were told. You know, I mean, end of the day, if Kara really is this kind of person, or Kara is this kind of person that feels the need to always have male attention, then that's never going to be healthy for her in any relationship, because that means any man that she's going to be with is always going to be questioning her intentions. She really needs to fix that, because it really expresses and shows that her priorities may not be in the right place. And also on top of that, the worst of them all, at least if I was in a position where I'd be with her, it would be more the case where I'd feel like as if I'm not enough for her because she needs to still get attention from elsewhere. So much to the point that even when I tell her certain things, advise on certain things, rather than listen to me when I say it, she'll listen to someone else when they say it. Which, to be fair, is a point that is made by G at some point, to be fair with you. But at the same time, she responded by saying, well, if he was somebody that knew how to open the car door properly, then yeah, I'd actually listen to him, but he doesn't. I just find that quite funny. But anyway, let's continue.
This girl, when I was at work, in the restaurant where I work, she was a customer. And right before she left, she literally put her phone number in a napkin and she gave it to me. And the Venmo that I sent her, it was basically just to help her whenever she was going to come back to Charlottesville.
Now, obviously, this is him explaining the situation with the girl that he sent a Venmo to on Valentine's Day. Yes, something that obviously Cara obviously mentioned before. But again, though, it's not really relevant because this was when they were not together. So for him to send said money to this woman when him and Cara are separated, well, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, listen, the only context that I can think of that would make this context matter is, let's say, for example, he was meant to send money for their child, you know, like, what's that money? What do they call it again? Child support. Yeah, that one. If it was child support money they was meant to send, and instead of sending child support money, he sent it to his random girl, I would fully understand this context being relevant and why Carl would be absolutely annoyed about it. But it's not. It's just a case where literally he sent money to a girl whilst he was separate, and well, I guess still currently separate. So really and truly, did he have to justify himself? Did he have to explain himself? Absolutely not. But let's continue.
That's it. At least separate a little over 6 months by the time that the girl visited me. Dad, when Kara and I were together, but she also went to see that guy, they were professional. Everything started happening right after we got separated.
So G is suspicious. He reckons that the man that Cara decided to sleep with was a guy that she already knew. And the whole time they were in a relationship, she said this man was professional. Their relationship was a professional one. But then boom, bam, all of a sudden, they're separated, and this is the guy that he believed that she obviously slept with. I mean, listen, if that's the case, then I understand his frustrations. Completely understand his frustrations. But it doesn't mean that he should allow it to get the best of him, because it means he then you don't want to look weak. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, allowing it to get the best of you is okay, but then to do the point where you then act it out in a malicious way shows weakness. Do you see what I'm saying? If you say, listen, I know this is the guy, but it's okay, because at least now I know, that's it. At least you know that that person doesn't get to see you being sad, miserable, annoyed about the situation. Does that make sense? So what about keeping the right face, you know what I mean? The right energy around that person so you don't give them that satisfaction.
Right.
But then again, though, you can still give them the energy that you're disappointed. There's nothing wrong with that, to be fair. Yeah, I'll definitely go for the angle that shows that I am disappointed. I would go for the angle that I'm disappointed that I was right that you slept with the person that I knew you was going to. But he has more to say here.
I lived with her for so long. I know how she is when she already had sex. Face. She's very expressive. I can tell. She's very expressive. I can tell. She was definitely lying about the time when she was having sex with another person.
Now, he doesn't necessarily elaborate on what he says here, but I'm just going to elaborate for him just in case this is what he meant. Just in case this is what he meant, okay, just to clarify it again. I believe this is him alluding to the fact that he believes that Cara was obviously cheating him with this man this whole time. Because remember, he has accused her of infidelity multiple times, and something that he has not let go of. So the same man that she slept with while they were separated, in his eyes, is still the same man that she was sleeping with when they were together. But of course, everything that he's saying is all speculation. It's just him assuming because of what he knows of Cara. But here's the thing, though. If he knew this at the time, then he should have just left her straight away then and there. But I guess sometimes, look at this way, if somebody puts you in a position where you now become paranoid that they are sleeping with somebody else, and you feel like you have the evidence that's strong enough in your opinion, you should leave. But of course, if you later on find out that your evidence was nothing but paranoia and you're projecting, you were still right to leave, because it means that you clearly wasn't in a good place to want to be in that relationship. And it meant that if you stayed in that relationship anyway, you probably would have made things even worse due to your paranoia. So sometimes leaving someone and then recognizing that you was actually wrong about your assumptions doesn't necessarily mean that you made the right choice. Because staying around somebody that puts you in a position where all of a sudden you're paranoid that they are doing said things can only allow your behavior a lot of the time to escalate and become worse, and therefore you can end up doing things that you shouldn't be doing. So you're never necessarily wrong for leaving, but you could be wrong for having the wrong assumption. I hope that makes sense. So just please, just bear that in mind. But some people say, I regret doing what I did in terms of leaving. No, because you don't know what the person you would have become if you had stayed with that level of paranoia. And paranoia can make people do a lot of crazy things.
Some decisions that she take in life that I definitely feel embarrassed.
I think that this truly shines a light on, he thinks he's very noble and self-righteous. And I think moments like this really do shine a light on the differences in our character, because say that.
Yeah, obviously, just to remind you folks here, this is obviously regarding the fact that he said that he was not proud of Cara being the mother of his child simply because she decided to sell images of herself online. So this is where this topic is leading to here. And this is why Cara is now saying this shows the difference between herself and him.
And I think moments like this really do shine a light on the differences in our character, because say that to him ever, because we share a son together.
You decided.
So yeah, she's just letting us know that at the end of the day, we share something together. So no way in shape or form would I ever sit there and say that I'm not proud of him being the father. He just likes to do these things because he needs to make me look like I am that much of a bad person. And listen, even if Cara really is that much of a bad person, him feeding into that so everybody can see that is not a good look. Because it shows that this person is hurt, and everything that he's doing he's acting based on being hurt, which is never a good thing. When you're hurt, it's best not to act, to be honest with you. It's best to have someone around you who you can trust, who's going to be able to give you the advice that is good advice, not the advice that is petty or toxic or anything that's just not healthy. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I just don't like about G. He's a very emotional person, very sensitive person. And when things aren't going a certain way, he will happily find a way to throw Cara under the bus or find ways to make her image look even worse, which for me personally is not a good trait in any shape or form. If somebody does me wrong, I don't care to try and make them look bad or whatever. Listen, if they do me wrong, all I got to do is just leave. That's it. If I need to, if there's any context where maybe I need to warn people about this person's behavior, is if I feel like this person is a danger to either themselves or maybe a danger to others. Those are the two only reasons I can think of this moment in time why I would want to, say said things. But either way, though, even if I was to say said things about somebody's behavior, it definitely wouldn't be in the way that G's saying it. But the way he's saying it is ways that's just very petty, very childish. I'd say in ways that just says that I'm just trying to look out for said things. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to tarnish this person's character or anything like that. I'm just letting people know that, hey, just be careful because of this, and that, and other. That's it. He's trying to make sure that he can capitalize on tarnishing her character, which is a very sad, poor movie to do. In fact, it's a very Sarper type thing to do.
Do you see the photos?
Oh, no.
Do you want to speak?
No.
Are you sure?
What kind
Meanwhile, Sarper's sitting there saying that, asking Ross if he has seen images of Cara online. Well, we all know what Sarper's the way he's been using his money, don't we now? We know he's definitely seen them.
pictures are we think that what may really be going on here is that Guillermo knows that he can't match the money that she's making doing that. And that is extremely humiliating for him. That is.
So it's quite interesting that even the therapist is picking up on the fact that Guillermo's reactions aren't coming from the best places. They come from a place of just hurt, which isn't a good thing.
So rather than just own that part of the equation, it's much easier to put her down and be hostile towards her. Tit for tat. Well, you did this. Well, you did this. Well, again, you cannot resolve anything when you are both coming at it like that.
Precisely. I had that little foot in there, but I was thinking somebody that sees what I'm seeing. Maybe it's a British thing. I don't know. But there you go. Even the therapist said it himself. G finds it, for some bizarre reason, he finds it necessary to put her down just to make himself feel good. tick for tack. That's why I said in this video here, and even in the video before this, obviously when I reviewed the actual episode itself in particular, I spoke about it then, about how the fact that this man seems to want to bring up conversations that don't need to be brought up. They're not relevant. But he does them but he has to bring them up because it's the way he builds up to bringing her down, to make himself feel better about himself. That makes him no different than her. Makes him no better than herself. Yes, Cara has done things probably worse than him, give or take. But either way, though, his behavior is just showing to be very, very childish, very, very petty, very, very unnecessary. Give me your thoughts on that one. But now we're going to move on to the next thing that went down on Between the Sheets.
Pointed to see this scene actually because I would hope that my husband would have more positive things to say about marriage and about women in general, but here he is like trying to lead a club of we hate our wives.
Now bear in mind, I did already say in the previous upload as well regarding the episode that people need to start paying more attention to Sarper's behavior, because Sarper's behavior is very hateful towards women, and I don't know why women aren't seeing this. And don't get me wrong, obviously in that video, if you haven't seen it, please do check it out, because it's not just Shekinah saying it now. In that one, you will notice there's other people who are noticing that there's a vibe around Sarper that just isn't necessarily the best, especially towards women. And obviously Shekinah is here saying, I can't believe that I'm watching a clip of my husband literally talking about basically bashing our relationship rather than trying to, praise it in any shape or form. Says a lot about him.
Let's get together and figure out what we're doing wrong because we love our wives.
You know what's funny though? Whenever I have conversations with my friends, if we talk about relationships, women, whatever, we always talk about how we always hold each other accountable on how we can do better. You see? But which is what usually I thought all men did, to be honest with you, but Sarper's a different breed. He does the complete opposite. Now, bear in mind though, last week's episode, what did Shekinah say again that was so key to exposing this man and the way he is? I had it in my head a second ago, and then it's gone, but hopefully it can come back before the end of this video.
Because we love our wives. It makes me just like havoc for all men.
I'm just going to play back this whole 14-second clip because I want to see if it's going to allow me to remember what I was going to say that was in relation to what happened last week, or that she said about him, that also paints the picture of what I'm trying to expose here.
Pointed to see this scene actually because I would hope that my husband would have more positive things to say about marriage and about women in general, but here he is like trying to lead a club of we hate our wives. Let's get together and figure out what we're doing wrong because we love our wives. It makes me just like havoc for all men.
Yeah, I can't think of what it is. God damn. Hopefully they come back to me before the end of this video. But there's something else that he said as well last week that also paints the picture of just the way he is when it comes to viewing women. That also wasn't kind. Okay? So many things that these guys says, but goes over people's heads. But listen, let's dive into the next one here.
That we had where he decided to get in the car and drive to Virginia. Do you know what it was about? To go to Florida. I come into the kitchen. He was packing up the kitchen.
I just realized I don't think I was meant to play this clip now. Now I'm a bit confused. Let's continue it, just in case.
And I saw that he had thrown it in the trash. One of the big mason jar with a plastic lid and handle. And I go, hey, why did you throw that away? I said, I'm still using it. I wasn't mad at him. I threw that away. I was actually sweet. He goes, you never use this. He grabs it out of the trash and slams it down on the cabinet. And I go,
I remember I wasn't going to play this one. It was this clip here that I was going to play next. Purely because after watching that clip, I was like, what am I going to say about that? But that was her just telling the story about how they end up having a falling out that caused him to drive however hours away, pretty much in a nutshell. But this is the one that I wanted to play though, regarding Zeid and Rebecca.
Close to finish our relationship, to be honest with you.
bad-mouthing me to the man who was disrespectful.
And I'm sorry for this with you.
Instead of standing up for me and saying, yeah, well, you know what, you were really rude.
Yes, Rebecca just reminded me exactly what I was going to say about Shekinah and Sarper. Yes, standing up for me. Now, notice something. Sarper is more than happy to throw Shekinah under the bus. Shekinah is never happy to do that. Remember last week with Rebecca, in the end of the episode, we experienced obviously Sarper saying said things to Shekinah, them going back and forth. But then when Rebecca spoke up to try and defend Shekinah, what happened? Shekinah still then shut down Rebecca and said, excuse me, don't talk to my man like that. So that's the difference between Sarper and Shekinah. Shekinah, regardless of what they're going through, she will always defend him no matter what. Meanwhile, Sarper, on the other hand, if things aren't going well, he'll happily capitalize, just like G, on making his woman look worse. Are those men's men? You know, are those the kind of men that you would want to be in a relationship with? But let's get back into Rebecca over here real quick. Yes, but Rebecca makes a very good point here with the whole situation. Why is Zeid not defending her? Instead, he's becoming a buddy with Sarper.
I appreciate the apology, but he let Sarper apologize to him, thanked him for the apology, and then threw me under the bus. No,
It just seems to me this is the trend with with 3 of these men so far, throwing their wives under the bus. Very not good.
I thought the same when I watched. I was like, you guys are completely.
it boils down to the fact that ultimately Sarper doesn't give a whether or not I like him. He wanted Zeid to like him.
Like right after I said what I
She's not lying.
said about Kara, and then she said to me, "Hey, don't tell anybody." But then she said, "It's just because I don't know how Zeid will react."
Now, just to let you know what he's talking about. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, when he spoke about how he's not proud of Kara being the mother of his child, simply because she ended up signing up to the OF account. Well, he's now saying that Rebecca did say to him that she also did used to sell images of herself online, but apparently Zeid doesn't know. But if he did know, well,
I feel like he will definitely not react like you. He will definitely react way worse. That's what she told me.
Oh,
and obviously, you know, she's saying to him that I'm afraid of how he's going to react. To be fair, I don't know why she would tell G this information, to be honest with you. I mean, I understand with the context, but hey, either way though, he obviously knows. There's no way he doesn't know. Why would he not know? Do you see what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Either way though, it does seem quite sad that we've got 3 minutes, Sarper, G, and Zeid. It's quite sad that, you know, in terms of obviously being at the aid of their women, they're more than happy to throw the women under the bus. Meanwhile, their women, on the other hand, well, at least Shekinah will definitely defend her man if a woman's coming after him. And, you know, Rebecca will... She's very passionate about the way she goes about things with him. Do you see what I'm saying? So there you go. And then you got Cara. I mean, I don't know what Cara, to be honest with you. But all I know is that right now, these men aren't showing great leadership skills. For men that claim to want to be... Well, G not as much, but the two others, Sarper and Z, the fact that they actually claim to want to be these alpha men or whatever nonsense, they're not doing a very good job at it because they're more than happy to throw them under the bus. You know what I mean? Obviously, G, I don't think he's ever claimed to want to be alpha, but again, him showing that he wants to throw his woman under the bus just isn't good for business, because at the end of the day, if a woman is doing me wrong, instead of trying to throw under the bus or trying to make her feel less than or whatever, I just check out and say, you know what, I'm out. About my business. You know, I'm about my business. Which is crazy though, because to be fair though, when I check out, to be fair, it can be mistaken before. It has once upon a time been mistaken. Well, I can only say once upon a time by record it's been claimed, it's been seen as silent drink when it's been far from the case. It's just that for me, once I say said things twice, sometimes maybe 3 times if it's possible, I won't repeat myself again. After that, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm out. Skedaddle. I just don't like wasting energy that doesn't need to be wasted. I've got other things in life that I need to worry about that I want to improve. Do you see what I'm saying? But hey, either way, people will take things how they want to take it, and that is entirely up to them. There is no wrong in it per se, give or take. But with that being said though, either way, give me your thoughts on the season so far, and obviously everything that I had to say. But as always, please do make sure you hype the video on your way out. Also like the video, subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.